Don't let this one get away. He's 24 inches long and is the perfect catch for children of all ages. Hi, I'm Mary Matz, creator of Twisted Yarns. In this video, we will crochet Splash, a whimsical tropical fish, from head to tail. The companion pattern is available by following the links in the description below. It includes the fish scale stitch pattern along with instructions for creating 2 sizes of this decorative pillow. Best of all, Splash pairs perfectly with the mermaid ripple blanket. You will need an H crochet hook and 3 solid colors and coordinating self-striping or variegated yarn. Then add a few yards of contrasting colors from your scrap basket to create his features. The yarns that I used are also listed in the description below. But for now, let's go swimming in the tropics. And what we're going to do is form a slip knot and chain 2. In the second chain from the hook, we're going to insert our hook, but I'm going to take this little end and wrap it around counterclockwise, so I'm going through 2 thicknesses. And I'm going to work 3 single crochets into that 1 chain. That's the tip of the nose. Then I'm going to chain 1. So at the tip of the nose, you're going to work 1, 2 single crochets in the first stitch, 1 in the next stitch, and 2 in the end. Every time you work 2 stitches in 1 stitch, that's an increase. Because we'll be talking about increasing, okay? So now we have 5. We had 3, now we have 5 because we increased at this edge and at this edge. Now we're going to chain 1 and turn. In the first stitch, you're going to work 1 single crochet. In the second stitch from the end, because we have 1 on there already, we're going to work 2 stitches. That's 1 increase. In the next one, 1. In the next one, 2. And in the last stitch, 1. And the reason we do this is because we don't want the increases right on the edges, although we want them toward the edges. First off, we're going to chain 1 and turn. When they talk about working even, all that means is whatever stitch pattern you're doing, you're not increasing nor decreasing. So we're just working 1 single crochet in each of the stitches. We're going to work 1 stitch in the first one, and like before, in the second stitch, we're going to put an increase. Then we're going to work over toward the center. Now, it doesn't have to be perfect in the center, but in the center stitch, or they're close enough, you're going to put 2 in one of the stitches. And in the next stitch, 1. Then in the second to the last stitch, you're going to put 2. And in the last stitch, you're going to put 1 stitch. So we just did 3 increases on this row. Chain 1 and turn. We've increased until we got to 22, and then we worked our 1 row of 22 even. Now we're going to chain 1 and turn. On this row, we're going to increase 2, but we're not going to do them at the edges. We're going to add a little shaping to the middle so it puffs out a little bit. So we're just going to work over to about 1/3 of the stitches. It doesn't have to be exact. That's what's fun about these particular kinds of projects. And you're going to work an increase. And then we're going to work to about that same part over here. And we're going to work an increase. We have the wrong side of the last row facing us. We're inserting our hook in the very first stitch and pulling up a loop just to join the yarn. Now, we can just chain 1 to attach that yarn, and then I'm going to go into that same stitch and work a single crochet. That's our first stitch. Now that's our edge stitch, okay? So we have 1 extra stitch on this end. And then I am going to work a second single crochet. Now here you can leave the yarn tail laying across those loops and insert your hook and work the single crochet around it. From this point on, leave the yarn tail to the back, and this is the second single crochet that you made. This one right here starts the repeat. That's stitch 1 of the repeat. Number 2 is a half double crochet. You make a half double crochet by yarning over the hook, inserting your hook, pulling up a loop, so there's 3 loops on the hook, yarning over and pulling through all 3. That's a half double crochet. Now, just so you know, a half double crochet is a little bit taller than a single crochet. That's what helps to make the curve. Now we're going to work a double crochet into the next stitch. So we yarned over and pulled up a loop, 3 loops on hook again, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2 to form a double crochet. That's just a little bit taller than the half double crochet. In the next stitch, we're going to do a treble. A treble is done by wrapping your yarn over your hook twice before you insert it into the stitch and pull up a loop. Now we have 4 loops on hook. Yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2. Now that's at the top of our curve, of our scales. So we're going to do 1 more treble crochet in the next stitch. Pull through 2, pull through 2, pull through 2. Now we're going to do a double crochet. Yarn over, insert the hook, pull in the next stitch, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2. Now it's time for a half double crochet. Yarn over the hook, insert the hook, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through all 3. That's a half double crochet. Now in the next stitch, we're going back to a single crochet where we just pull up a loop and make a single crochet. Then in the next stitch, we do another single crochet. That second single crochet starts the next repeat. So here you have this scale going up like this. So this is the end stitch. Here's the first part of the repeat. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. This second single crochet here is the start of the next repeat. Yarn over the hook because we're doing a half double crochet. Insert the hook, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through all 3. Now a double. Yarn over the hook, insert, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2. A treble. 2 wraps on the hook, insert, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2. Again, another treble into the next stitch. Insert, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2. Now we're coming back down. So we're going to do a double crochet. Yarn over the hook, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2. A half double crochet. Yarn over the hook, insert the hook, pull up a loop, 3 loops on hook, yarn over, pull through all 3. A single crochet, insert, pull up a loop, yarn over and pull through 2. And another single crochet, which starts the third repeat. So that's 2 single crochets at the bottom of the valley. So the next stitch, we did the single crochet already, so we're doing a half double crochet. Pull through all 3. A double crochet. 3 loops on hook, pull through 2, pull through 2. A treble. 2 wraps, pull up a loop. 4 loops on hook, pull through 2, pull through 2, pull through 2. Another treble. Pull up a loop, 4 loops on the hook, pull through 2, pull through 2, pull through 2. A double. pull through 2, pull through 2, a half double. 3 loops on hook, pull through all 3. Then a single crochet to end the repeat, and then a single crochet because that's the edge stitch. Okay? So we now have 3 repeats done with an edge stitch on each end. Isn't that nice? Okay. Now, row 2 of the scale pattern is very, very simple. Chain 1 and turn your work. Now, it's very easy, so I'm only going to show you this very quickly. In each stitch along here, you're going to work 1 single crochet. That's it. A single crochet in every single one of the stitches. Before you get to the end though, you want to weave this end in because this pattern has a lot of yarn tails. So you want to weave that in so that you can work right over it and it gets buried permanently. Okay, we're getting right down to the end. So that's our 1 single crochet, and then right into the top of the last single crochet. There we go. We've got it. Okay, this pattern, as I said, has lots of tails, so make sure you weave in as you go. We're going to insert our hook in the very first stitch and pull up a loop. And chain 4 using both strands of yarn this time. 1, 2, get that in there, 3, and 4. You can then pull that last yarn tail through, and we'll weave that in or trim it off later. 4 chains is the same height as a treble crochet, and treble crochets are always worked over the single crochets, since the single crochets are 2 rows below, and we're not talking about the row where we worked even. We're talking about 2 rows below. And so you can see a single crochet there and a single crochet there. So the next stitch is also a treble crochet. So you yarn over twice, insert the hook, make sure you go under both loops, pull up a loop, pull through 2, pull through 2, pull through 2. This row starts with 2 trebles instead of 2 single crochets, and then it works down to the peak. And we'll get there in just a second. So after a treble in the stitch pattern comes a double under both loops, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2. After a double, a half double crochet goes in the next stitch. Then in the next stitch, we place a single crochet. And then we start the repeat again with a single crochet. Now, this is an important concept to understand. The trebles always go over the single crochets. A double crochet always goes over a half double crochet. A half double crochet will always go over a double crochet, and then single crochets always will go over the treble crochets. This concept is important because when we start increasing and decreasing later, you have to make sure that you start your row with the appropriate stitch and then just go into pattern from there. But we'll do that more carefully when we get to that point. But for now, this is the lesson here. Okay, so now we go back to a half double crochet, a double crochet, a treble crochet, and a treble crochet. Now, this pattern is more complex. And so if you note, the treble crochet is once again right over the single crochets of the row, 2 rows below. That's an important thing. And so what I do when I work this pattern is every time I do treble crochets, I double check that I'm over those 2 single crochets. whenever I do single crochets, I make sure I'm over the treble crochets, and everything else kind of just fits in between. So now we've finished our 2 trebles. We'll go back into doing a double, a half double crochet, and then 2 singles. And if you train yourself to just take a look and make sure you're in the right place, there's our 2 treble crochets, 2 rows below, you won't go wrong. So from a single crochet, you do a half double crochet, going into a double crochet, going into a treble crochet, and if you look again, with 2 treble crochets, and you're right over those single crochets below. Then a double crochet, a half double, a single, which is falling right over the treble. I can feel it, see that? And another single crochet, a half double, a double, and just like the first row ended with 2 single crochets, this row ends with 2 treble crochets right over those single crochets. Okay, so now you chain 1 and turn. And then every second row is worked with 1 single crochet in each stitch across. We're going to repeat these 4 rows until we have, and changing colors every other row, until we have a total of 13 rows. So this is 2, this would be 4, so each stripe is 2 rows. So that's 6.5 stripes. At the beginning of the row, we've done our chain 1 and turned. Now we're going to work 1 single crochet in the very first stitch. In the second and third stitch, we're going to pull up a loop in each of those stitches. That puts 3 loops on the hook, yarn over and pull through all 3 to make a single crochet 2 together. So now we're going to work all single crochets over to the other end. Now we're 3 stitches from the end. So here we're going to pull up a loop in that one, pull up a loop in the next one, and complete the single crochet 2 together. Then in the very last stitch, we're going to pull up a loop and complete the single crochet. That puts both the decreases 1 stitch in from the edge. And that's helpful when we go to assemble the fish. Cut your yarn, weave that end in before we continue. On this row, we have to start off. And normally we either start off with a single crochet, which we did 2 rows below, or we start off with a treble crochet. However, as we start decreasing, that end stitch falls off. So now I'm going to show you the secret to figuring out what stitch to start on. Remember when I said that you always work a single crochet over a treble, and you always work a treble over a single crochet. So we're going to count our stitches back. So here's the treble 2 rows below. So this would be a single crochet. Here's the other treble 2 rows below. So this is a single crochet, this is a single crochet. The next stitch would be a half double crochet. The next one would be a double crochet. And then the end one would be a treble crochet, but only 1 treble. So remember, in this stitch we would be working a treble. But remember I said that the 4 chains and a turning chain is equivalent to a treble crochet? Well, we're going to do 4 chains. 1, 2, 3, and 4. Pull the end through. We can weave that little tail in later. But we're not going to do a second treble crochet like we did here because we already decreased. And so that one fell off. So the next stitch we work is a double crochet, a half double crochet, and then a single crochet. Now that single crochet should fall right in above the first treble crochet 2 rows below, and there it is, and so on. This is an important concept because we're going to continue to decrease every time we do the single crochet row, which is the next row. So this row where we're shaping with the undulations, we don't make any changes other than figure out what stitch to start with. Just like we started with 1 treble crochet, we're going to end with 1 treble crochet on this end because we took 1 off of each side. There is our last stitch, which is our treble crochet. See that? Chain 1 and turn. Now let's review the decrease row. Once again, we're going to work, this is all single crochets along this row, so we're going to work 1 decrease here and 1 decrease on this end. So these are the 2 that we want to do the decrease over. So we're going to put a stitch here, pull up a loop here because this belongs to this one here, pull up a loop in the next stitch, yarn over and pull through all 3 loops on the hook. That did our decrease. Now we're going to go into this last stitch and work a single crochet by pulling up the loop and yarning over and pulling through. Now, it might be a good idea to do a little chain here because the last stitch shrinks down and sometimes it gets lost. Now you can see it. So now we count back. This should be a single crochet, this should be a single crochet, this should be a half double, a double, a treble, a treble, a double, and a half double. Now this is actually the stitch, but I don't want to just get 1 piece of yarn. I want to make sure I go under at least 2 and the knot closed up on me. So I'm going to pull up a loop there and chain 2 using the double strand. A chain 2 is the same as a half double crochet. It's the same height as a half double crochet. This one should actually be over here, so I'm going to work the double crochet that I need right next to it. It's not going to increase anything because we did do our decrease, okay? But just to keep us on track with our counts. So there we go with a treble, and we're back on course right over the single crochets 2 rows below. Then a double, and of course you're going to end the same way you began with a half double in the last stitch. There's our half double. Chain 1 and turn. We're going to return back, and you see how we're slowly easing in. Now you're going to continue doing these decreases until you have a total of 13 stripes completed. As you can see, I finished my decreases. I'm just finished row 27. And so this was row 14, the last of this. So that's 14, 16, 18, 20, 22, 24, 26, and 27 is the first row of this color. I marked this stripe because this is the stripe in which I begin my increases. So I've come in like this. Now I'm going to go out like this to make the fishtail. Okay, I've chained by 1 and I'm turning. And this is my increase row. But just like on the rows that we did the decreases, we do the increases on the single crochet row, which makes it really easy. So in the very first stitch, simply work 2 single crochets, and you just made the increase. Work across the row, and in the very last stitch, work 2 single crochets, and you're done. That's the whole secret. And that gives us the shaping. But it's the next rows that matter. And once again, in the pattern, what stitch you start on is spelled out in the pattern row by row. So here we are. We're getting to the second to last stitch. Here's our last stitch. It's the chain up. And so we're going to do 2 stitches in that stitch. So now we've just begun to come out like so. I'm going to cut my yarn, weave that in. The same calculation is worked, so you count back from over the trebles or over the single crochet. So these would be single crochets, half double, and we'll start with a double crochet. So we are going to start by pulling up our loop and chaining 3 with the double strand. 1, 2, and 3. That counts as a double crochet. Pull that end through, and we're going to go right into a half double crochet in the next stitch, and then a single crochet in each of the next 2 stitches, which are over our treble crochet, and then right back into pattern. Single, which is right over the treble crochets of the row below, or 2 rows below, I should say. A half double, and then ending with a double crochet. That's our row 29. Chain 1 and turn. Our end is woven in, and now we're going back into another increase row. You're going to continue to increase on each of these single crochet rows and change your starting point. And once again, but the pattern stays aligned with those center stitches. You're going to continue to do this until you reach row 42. Here's our little fish. We have 21 fish scale stripes. And now we're going to edge him. Now notice there are 2 sides. This is the back side of the pattern, and this is the front side of the pattern. You can tell because you get these wavy little lines. And I'm just going to attach my yarn just like before, pull it, chain 1 tightly, work 1 single crochet in each stitch along this edge. At the corners of the tail, I'm going to work 3 single crochets in each of those corners, and I'm going to put 2 single crochets at the nose. So we're going to go completely around the fish. Now I'm going to work down this side. You're just going to work so that it's, see how nice and flat that's laying? That's all you want to do. It doesn't matter whether you have a lot or a few, because we're going to ease this into the other piece of the fish anyway, and we have another row to go. But if you just do it consistently, you'll be fine. Okay, we're about ready to make the upper fin, and that's the large fin. But you use the first 2 rows of the large fin, actually make the small fin. So we're going to show you how to do both at the same time. So we're going to form a slip knot. Now I'm making it about 8 inches from the end because I'm going to chain 8 using a double strand. 1, 2, and 8. Pull the end through. You can trim that off later. Now we're going to work in the upper loops only along this foundation chain. We're going to insert our hook and work a single crochet in the first, second, and third chain. Then we're going to work a half double crochet in the next 2 chains. Then a double crochet in the next chain and 2 double crochets in the end chain. So now our second row is chain 3 and turn. Then we're going to do a double crochet in the base of the turning chain and 1 double crochet in each of the next 2. That's 1 and 2. Then we're going to work a half double crochet in each of the next two. That's 1, 2, and then we're going to work a single crochet in the next two. 1 and 2. Now that leaves a stitch unworked and then the turning chain. So in this stitch we're going to slip stitch into that stitch. Now if you're making the lower fin, that's it. You're done. Cut your yarn and move on. If you're making the larger fin like this one, we're going to continue to work 2 more rows. So now we're going to chain 1 and turn. Skip this slip stitch that you did and work a single crochet in the next 2 stitches. Then we're going to work 2 half double crochets in the next stitch and 1 half double crochet in the next. Then 1 double crochet in each of the next 3. That's 1, 2, and 3. And that leaves us just the turning chain right here. So we're going to work 2 double crochets in the top of the turning chain. 1 and 2. So that's shaping up quite nicely. Now we're going to chain 3 and turn. Now we're going to work another double crochet right at the base of the turning chain and 2 double crochets in the next stitch. Then 1 double crochet in each of the next 2. And 2 half double crochets in the next stitch. Then 1 half double crochet in each of the next 3 stitches. So we're getting close to the end now. We're going to work 1 single crochet in the next stitch and 2 single crochets in that next stitch. And that happens to be at the end of the last row. Now you're going to go all the way down here and slip stitch into the last stitch on row 1. And there we have it. And then we can end off. All we're going to do is work single crochets around this outer edge. Is you want to go to the corresponding body part. So this is the front of the fish on this one. This is the back of the fish. You want to go and sew this edge behind the green edging that you put on the fish body. Here is what the fish looks like when the fins are sewn into place and is ready to add the second row of edging. Choose a different color for this row. If you are using self-striping yarn, make sure to start in a corner. This is because the color will no doubt change by the time you get around the entire fish. This row of edging is worked the same as the first, with 3 single crochets in the corner of the tail and 2 single crochets in the tip of the nose. But edging the fins is handled just a little differently. Here's how. And what we do is in the stitch before the corner, we pull up a loop. And in the first stitch of the fin, we pull up a loop. And we're doing it tightly and pulling through all 3 loops on the hook. What we just did was a single crochet 2 together, and that takes the bulk out of this tight little corner. At the tip of the fin, work 1 single crochet, 1 half double crochet, and 1 single crochet in the same stitch to make the fin just a little pointier. Then, when the fin meets the body again, work another single crochet 2 together to make this transition just as neat as you did on the other side of the fin. Cut and weave in the ends after you edge the back of the fish. Do not cut the yarn after you finish the front of the fish because the same color is used for the final joining row. Once you have the second row of edging on the fish, lay the fish on the lining fabric. Cut 2 pieces 1 inch larger than the fish on all sides. Zigzag along the edge, leaving a 6-inch opening along the tail. I like to turn the raw seam to the inside so the smooth side of the seam is out. Stuff with polyester batting and close the opening. Now you are ready to join the front to the back with the joining row. This is the wrong side of the back. This is the wrong side of the front. You want to make sure that they're aligned. This is the lower fin and this is the upper fin. But make sure they're matched. Okay? So I've put one in the lower back. I'm going to put one marker right at the fin because I know I have to ease in. If there's any discrepancy in stitches, I will be easing these in as I go. I'll also put a marker at the front part of the fin because the fins might not match perfectly. It doesn't matter because this row is so forgiving. And then I'm going to put one at the tip of the nose. If you don't have them, you can use a piece of contrasting yarn just to tie them together, and then when you get there, you remove it. Insert our hook, the first one, and then under this stitch back here. Pull up a loop, and see I'm coming up to the left of the loop on my hook. It twists it and crosses it over because this is a reverse single crochet. And then I'm going to yarn over and complete that reverse single crochet. You'll see what I'm talking about as we go a couple more stitches. Insert my hook into the next stitch to the right. We're working from the left to the right. I'm going to go under the next stitch on the back. Now this is a little tight back here only because I wove the end in there. I'm going to pull through, but I'm going to pull it up to the left of the loop on the hook. Yarn over and complete a reverse single crochet. See the edge that it's creating? It's a nice fat rolled edge, and it joins the 2 pieces together. I don't have to do anything more. This is my final row. Insert my under the first stitch, then under the corresponding stitch in the back. Now I'm going to keep going until I have to ease something in. Up, I have 1 extra stitch back here, so I'm going to insert into that next stitch, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2. Now I'm going to go into the same stitch I was in and into the next stitch on the back because I want to ease that in. Pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2. And you'll never see it. It will not show up. It just gets lost in the belly of that fish. But you want to ease it in gradually. If you had 2 out of whack, you'd want to spread them out a little bit. You don't want to skip anything. That's the importance of this, because this is a really nice braided rolled edge. Now remember, this is a concave corner. So I have 1 more to go here on this side. One nice thing about this rolled edge is you really don't have to worry too much about it. So I'm going to take that marker off. I'm right at the corner. So on this one, I'm going to go into the corner stitches, pull up a loop. Then I'm going to twist back and go into the next stitch and the next one over there and pull up a loop. Now I have a doubled one. And I think I need to do that on the concave one. So around the nose, I may or may not need an extra stitch over here, but it doesn't hurt if you put one in. Here I probably will smooth out this edge, and when I come around I'll put 3 here, I'll take a single crochet 2 together, or I should say a reverse single crochet 2 together, and then come all the way to this end. I have to align and insert my pillow form at this point. So make sure the big dorsal fin is matching the big dorsal fin up there. And we're going to just squish it in before I get too far along. And I'm going to just continue. I can now go all the way down to here. When I get to this corner of the fin, of the tail fin, I'm going to come work up this side. I always wait until the fish is completely assembled before I place the eyes and the smile, because often its character emerges and the doll seems to come alive. I hope you enjoyed this video. Please take a moment to subscribe and ring the bell to receive notifications of upcoming videos and events. Happy crocheting!